Welcome back to the Live Out Loud Show. I'm your host, Brooke Thomas. Today's episode is a little glimpse inside something really powerful, our Live Out Loud Elite Mastermind retreat. We host 2 retreats a year, and this moment I'm sharing came from a talk I gave to the incredible women in the room. Over the years, it's been amazing to watch our alumni and longtime members grow, not just in business, but in life and faith. We've seen marriages restored, businesses and babies birthed, breakthrough and freedom happen, and so much more. Sometimes it's hard to explain all that God does at these retreats. These women have planted deep roots in this community, and what's blossomed from their obedience and investment has been nothing short of life-changing miracles. In this clip, I speak to a question so many of us face. How do you do it all? There was a woman in the mastermind who brought her baby with her this year, and she's in the thick of it. I share a piece of my own story and why being surrounded by encouragers, by women who speak life and truth, is one of the greatest accelerators to your next level. So I wanted to bring this moment to you because you belong in rooms like this too. And if you're curious about the Live Out Loud Mastermind, you can find all the details below. My team and I would love to connect with you. So let's dive in.
I want all of you to always remember why you're here, why people stay here. You know, every woman at every level needs support, and they need to be in a room like this. And I don't know any other rooms that are doing this. And I'm saying that with conviction and unapologetically, because the reason why I created this years and years ago with the Lord was because my heart was craving it. And I was crying out to God. And I was like, where are they? Because I didn't have it. And I was talking to, who was I talking to this morning? Dr. Tricia, where is she? She just walked out to feed her baby. She was just like, oh, hi, honey. We love you. Boom it all. Yes. From pre-menopause, menopause, post-menopause through breastfeeding. We take it all. I love you so much. No, she came, we prayed this morning on the beach. It's beautiful. This is beautiful. This is what we do. This is beautiful that's what you're doing. And she was like, can you just pray over me? And this actually was a topic that just came up. It comes up a lot, like, how do you do it? Babies and business and all the things. And there are so many brilliant, amazing, beautiful women in here at all different stages, all different seasons. And my daughters are 17 and 20. And I'll never forget the women that looked at me when my kids were babies, the women, and they said, you have to choose. You cannot be a good mom and a businesswoman. You have to choose. And those were also the same women that actually told me, don't talk to my husbands. Don't talk to, not they had multiple husbands. Don't talk to my husband and tell him what you do. Because I don't want him to know what you're doing, and you're a mom, and you have a good marriage. Like, they were not nice to me. It was this country club neighborhood that I lived in, and I was like, Margaret, you don't need to tell your husband, anything. I don't need to talk to your husband. And then I would tell Brett, this is the funny joke side of me, right? I always would be like, Brett, can you just go flirt with these ladies, or make them feel good about themselves, please? I don't care. I'm comfortable with our relationship. Just go be nice to them, go flirt with them, go be nice. I don't care. They don't like me. I don't know what I did. When you walk into a room, you're so nice, and you're I don't know what I'm doing. What did I do? I don't need to tell you anything. I would hide and I would diminish. And that's back when I had opportunities to be on that NBC show, and I was creating that stuff, and I was going into corporations and selling my healthy lifestyle program that I created out of the cancer journey. And I didn't tell anybody. I would go by myself. And I would do these things by myself because I wanted to dim my light because there was no support. I mean, I would go with Brett and my daughter to the news station, and I was cooking all night the night before and go in the morning, and all the things. And like, I was going by myself. And I remember walking out of the news, station. And I remember feeling like, I wish there was like somebody that I could celebrate this with. It's kind of a big deal. I didn't even have family support or anything. And I remember pitching things to corporations, and I couldn't believe that I took this healthy lifestyle program that I made in my living room with my babies, crying, because God downloaded it to me, and I pitched it because I had this idea that God gave me for Belt Corporation to pitch it for $4,800 for a 4-week lunch and learn. I just made it up. And I pitched it, and they said no. For a year and a half, I went back every quarter because I was like, is it really a no, or is it a maybe at some point? And they're like, well, maybe at some point. And I was like, well, is there anything I could do different? And every time I would go back with a better pitch, and then they said no. And then they kept inviting me back, and it took a year and a half. I've told this story before, but it took me a year and a half, and they finally said yes. And I remember when they said yes, I'm like the worst when people say yes. I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? You really say yes? Oh, okay. And I'll never forget this moment where I walked out of Belt Corporation by myself in my Navy suit with the tan pantyhose and the Navy matching heels. Not a good look. I was sweating. It was hot. Pantyhose and all the things. And I'll never forget, my knees almost buckled. Like, I was like so emotional because I was like, wow, they said yes. But I was all by myself. And I got in the car and I called Brett because he was the only person that I could tell. I never told anybody. And it was a really big deal. And I was young, and it was a big deal. And I had babies at home, and Brett was supporting me. Like, thankfully, he was supportive. And I'm thankful for that. But he had his own job, he had his own thing going on. But I didn't have literally one woman to call, one person. And I was fine with it, but I wasn't fine with it. And I cried and sobbed, and I was like, this is a really big deal. But I was like, it's fine. I was so proud of myself. But it would have been really amazing to have a room like this. It would have been really amazing to have a few people that was like, guess what, guys? That's why, people say, why do you do what you do? And I'm like, I created what I always wish I had. That's why I make it a big deal to celebrate you. It's not just to celebrate you, but I know how much it means to do something and work for something and create something and have somebody be like, that's amazing. Not because you need the accolades. None of you really need that. I know you're not like that. But it does feel good to have somebody be like, that was a lot of work. And then that $4,800 program, I sold it a year later. They kept inviting me back. I sold it a year later for $48,000. From $4,800 to $48,000 to another corporation. And then after that, $68,000 and then $88,000. I was just making up numbers, and they were saying yes because I was getting a good reputation, because I was showing up in excellence, and I was above and beyond, and it was getting around town, and I kept going, wow, it was amazing. And I definitely didn't tell anybody that, because I was going on to and I just remember every time I had anything that happened, I was dimming my light, and I was like, Brett, don't tell anybody. Brett would try to brag on me sometimes. I'm like, no, don't tell anybody. He's like, Brooke, it's a really big deal. No, I'd rather nobody know. It's fine. But it wasn't fine. You should celebrate. It's like our testimony. It's like, why would you hide your light? It's like Matthew 5:14. That's when I'm doing my books, that's how I'm signing it. I'm like, what is a scripture that, is activate your impact? What's a live out loud scripture? Because I love them all. But I'm like, Matthew 5:14, shine your light. Why do we dim our light? So, I wasn't expecting to share all that, but I wanted to share because Dr. Trisha wanted me to pray, and there's a lot of times where how do we do both? That was the whole point of me talking about this. I just want to say different seasons call for different things, but I am the woman that is, on the other side, 17, 20 years later. And I'm telling you, I didn't know how it was going to work out, but I just kept going, and different seasons called for different things. But sometimes I'd have my baby on the hip. Sometimes I brought one of my daughters to something. I brought them to the news thing because I didn't have any friends to take. but I brought them with me when I could. I can do way more now than I could then, but I still did what I could. And I still said, I know that I can be a great mom and a great businesswoman. It filled me up and fueled me to build and create things. I didn't think I was creative until I realized I was. And I taught my daughters that. And now I have the most independent 20-year-old that's in Alabama that I don't want her to leave me. And she's like, Mom, but you taught me. I'm good. I know what I want to do. And you told me if I support you in what you want to do, you would support me in what I wanted to do. And I want to go to Alabama. And I'm like, okay. And she's so independent. And they tell me all the time now, thank you, Mom. Thank you so much for showing us what's possible. Because my girls used to have a different opinion, different seasons, teenage years. And I remember one time they came home and one of them was complaining about why I wasn't like the other moms, And then a couple weeks later, I just pray for God to convict their hearts instead of me trying to. And he does. And a couple weeks later, she said, Mom, thanks for not being like some of those other moms. All they do is talk about each other. And they talk about each other's kids. And she's like, I never, ever hear you talk like that. I never hear any of your friends talk like that. I never have heard that. And she's like, thanks for not being like them. And I was like, thanks, God, for showing that. And I'm not generalizing that it's all like that, but you know what I'm saying? So I always like to share a little bit more you can ask me anything, but I do believe you can do it all, whatever it is that God has for you. But different seasons call for different things, and it looks different on everybody. And you've got to do what you're supposed to do and not listen to what other people say. And I think that's why this environment's so important, because we should be encouraging and speaking life and be people builders to each other. And again, it's going to look different for everybody.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Before you go, I have something really special for you. My brand new book, Activate Your Impact, A Guide to Living Out Loud in Business, Life, and Faith, is officially an international bestseller, and I want you to get your hands on it. If you're ready to break free from fear, build with bold faith, and walk confidently in your God-given calling, this book was written for you. Inside, I walk you through 12 powerful activations to help you step into your purpose, expand your influence, and finally live the abundant life God prepared for you. And when you grab your copy, guess what? I have, of course, 3 incredible free bonuses too. I have been getting so much feedback about all of the bonuses in this book. I'm so grateful to share this with you. Your next level of impact is waiting. Do not wait. Click the link in the show notes below or just search Activate Your Impact on Amazon to get your copy today.